What is going on, badasses around the globe? It is Badass Donnie, and we are bringing you Season 2 of Pretty Fly for a Badass podcast. Now, I haven't done these things in about 5 years, so I'm going to be a little rusty on it, but you know what? I thought, hey, what better time to kind of go into detail what some future plans are for videos, kind of like some stuff going on in my everyday life. You know, those kind of things. We're going to try to see if we can keep it around 30 minutes, so it's not going to be too long, but at the same time, it's not going to be where it's going to be over within 10 minutes. Obviously, those are for update videos and that kind of stuff, but I've been putting off this podcast for so long, just for the main reason is just like, I'm still trying to get to the concept of using, what do you call them, like, scripts and everything. Obviously, this is going to be off script just because it is a podcast. More or less, I'm just trying to go through things, kind of get a feel for them. Scripts are going to be mainly for videos that are designed to have like a structure to them, those kind of things. Obviously, I should have probably been a little bit more clear on that when I made my video for the return, but hey, I mean, what can you do? Only stuff is, you kind of figure out stuff as you go, which is kind of what this podcast is going to be for sure. It's not going to be as, how should I put this? It's not going to be as fancy or structured or anything like the others, but hey, you know what? There's a little bit of fun to that in a way. So yeah, so to get things started off, I guess, just because obviously we want to support the channel and kind of get it out there. If you guys could always leave a sub, that would be great. We're trying to see if we can reach 100 subs by the end of the year. Is that likely? Probably not, but your support's always greatly appreciated. As well as to leave a like, as well as to hit that bell icon. Obviously, it lets you know when my videos are uploading and all that kind of stuff. I've been kind of streaming on Twitch, so it'd also be great if you follow me on there. I've been contemplating on hopping between Twitch or YouTube. I'm still kind of getting some opinions tossed around, because obviously, I do Twitch mainly just because of the fact that my friends do Twitch. But at the same time, I've been thinking, because I want to grow my YouTube channel more than I really want to grow my Twitch, so I've been contemplating on moving over to YouTube. Still something that's I'm still kind of contemplating on. I probably won't have an answer for a while. It just depends on how Twitch goes and how YouTube goes. If I get more success with YouTube, obviously we're going to try to adjust and maybe move over. But who knows? Maybe if we do well on Twitch, we'll kind of keep those two platforms separate. But it's kind of still up in the air for that one. But yeah. So I guess on to the number one, like the first main topic of the podcast today is YouTube rebranding. So as a lot of you might have known, I actually just recently changed my YouTube logo, my banner, all that kind of stuff. If you follow me on Twitch, I also did kind of change that midway. But yeah, I was looking and going through a lot of stuff that was going on with other channels, and I noticed that a lot of the stuff is just a lot more clean and simple as this day. So the main channel, obviously, the main logo, that didn't change too much. We just wanted to clean it up, give it a more crystallized look and sharp look. And honestly, I feel like my skills with GIMP have improved a little bit to make it look a little bit more cleaner. Now, are they perfect? By all means, hell no. Because obviously, I'm still getting to learn the program. It has been 5 years since I've used a thing. So it's kind of like trying to get an artist to come back and kind of, how should I put this? Like, it's them trying to get into the rhythm and the flow of everything. When I obviously started doing YouTube, I did it for a few years, like for a couple of years, and then I got familiar with using GIMP every day pretty much just because of the fact I had so much time. But with me working full time now, I have very, very little time to kind of spend on it, because obviously if I'm not working, I have events going on with my folks. That's part of the reason I actually did move, is to get closer to family, that kind of stuff. In fact, I should probably give my mom a call. You know what, everybody? Give your mom a call tonight. She deserves that. Obviously, mothers are very awesome people. If you want to, like, I don't know how you would have heard that, but your moms are always awesome. They sacrifice a lot. But obviously, this is for topic for another thing. Just came to mind, onto the mic, whatever. Like I said, there's nothing professional about this. It's just more what comes to mind kind of thing. But yeah, so like I was saying earlier, like I've kind of gone from more familiar with using GIMP, that kind of stuff. So we're probably improving on stuff. But I noticed with a lot of YouTube banners these days, they're not super, how should I put it, extravagant. Like obviously you have some cool ones with like a lot of cool art, but obviously I have nowhere near enough followers to be making me fan art for my channel, that kind of stuff. So I was like, you know what? we're going to go and take the simple route. Now, I could have put my Twitter and all that stuff, but I find it kind of irrelevant to put in there. Mainly just because the way that YouTube's laid out, they have as long as you put the links in, it's on your banner regardless. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to bother adding it on. I'm going to keep it clean, neat, straight to the point, and just put my logo on there. That's it. So I really like the design. It's a lot simpler, which is nice. So I don't have to be focusing on too hard, on other aspects. Same with the Twitch one. It's pretty much all carried over and is exactly the same. I had an aspect I tried doing before where I tried making different colors of logos to represent the different platforms. So I had a main color from my main channel, another color from my secondary channel, which I'm still even contemplating if I even want to do anything, because I've been bouncing around content so much that I might honestly just keep it as is. But then we obviously had my Twitch one, was it my Twitch? No, it was my Discord one, which was a little bit different than my main one. So I kind of like the concept of having different ones, but after thinking about it for a bit, I think just having one unionized, centralized, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but just all of it into one kind of aspect, which is nice. So I think we're going to start off with that. Now, if we decide to do other channels, maybe we'll change it up, but that's still up in the air if this even is going to be successful. But you know what? We're not in it to be successful. This is just more of a hobby than anything. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably never going to do YouTube as a career, but looking back on myself, YouTube is awesome, but I don't think I've ever could have made it a career. Now, for the people that say, oh, follow your hearts, your dreams, I'm kind of glad I didn't follow mine, just for the main purpose of the fact that there was a huge recession a few years back with YouTube and ad revenue and stuff like that, where it was not a good time for YouTube. In fact, it was pretty dark days. And in fact, hell, it's still pretty dark these days because, let's be real, YouTube's not being the greatest with their monetization and whatnot. But what can you do? YouTube is a corporation, and they're just going to keep on trying to suck the money out of the people. And if people are not giving money, then, well, that's where issues arise. But you know what? That's political stuff and other stuff that I don't want to get into with this, because I might be this might be a podcast for different topics, but I try to want to keep away from political aspects. Sure, my opinion differs, and a lot of people aren't going to like that. And that's part of the reason we want to, is because we kind of want to keep this podcast as a more centralized podcast to a way. So we want to talk about stuff. I'll have my opinions on other things like zombies and all these different games. There's no doubt about that. But politics is a whole nother spectrum that I just don't want to get into. Not unless I get somebody on the podcast and maybe it comes up and maybe it's something different regarding Canadian politics. That stuff can be interesting. But obviously, we're not going to focus too hard on that. But yeah, with the upgrade of the logo and everything, I'm actually quite fond of it. I'm quite proud of it. I did put a lot of work into that. Now, obviously, it might change. It's still in the work phase, but so far, I think it's going to stick for a little bit. Same with the banner and all that stuff. But yeah, those are some changes that I made. And now, obviously, you can voice your opinion in the comment sections. In fact, as Mr. Madrybread likes to say, leave a comment. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Well, apparently. I actually can't put that to test, but apparently it works. So the comments are always greatly appreciated. But yeah, so obviously that's a little bit of YouTube rebranding. That kind of stuff's what's happening over the last little bit. Big thing that I've also spent some time working on is a stream coming soon. Beginning screen for my streams, so that was something I put a little bit of work into it. I'm not gonna lie, it's interesting. I'm still contemplating on the final design. I like it, but I'm not overly attached to it. So I've been contemplating on changing it a little bit, but I obviously need to kind of give some aspect and kind of think about it a little bit more before I do anything. But yeah. Also, cool thing here. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but we have some custom zombie gameplay going on in the background. That's actually Howl's... What the fuck is it called? Let me actually pull it up here. Okay. Howl's Moving Castle. It's a custom zombie map that was made for Noah J's movie contest. And I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed the map. It's a lot of fun. It's very simple, straight to the point, but at the same time, the graphics are amazing on it. Guns on it are a lot of fun to use. There's a bunch of cool perks on there. I think there's like 21 perks on that map, so that's pretty freaking cool and awesome. And I'm not gonna lie, but you'll see it potentially later on in the footage. But there's a cool surprise for a wonder weapon in there, or like a design for a weapon that was so fun and a lot of like it was so cool. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. You'll know it when you see it. But yeah, and then going on to the next topic here is future projects for YouTube. So this is something. This is kind of mainly why I want to make the podcast and bring it a little bit back. Is I wanted to kind of discuss future projects for the YouTube channel. So I've been kind of keeping it secret, but the first one I can kind of go over because it's probably been made very apparent based off of the gameplay I've been streaming. But we're going to be making a tier list for all of the Call of Duty campaigns uh, on the YouTube channel. So that's something, obviously, that's probably going to be scripted a little bit, but we'll get into that later when we get into that. But the main reason I want to do that is because, obviously, a lot of people have different opinions on what's the best campaigns. And I wanted to share my opinion on that one. This is one of those things where I don't mind sharing my opinion on this. A lot of people might disagree with it, but that's the nice thing about campaigns and stuff like that in games is that each and every person has an individual opinion on it, and it kind of gives an aspect to like how the game plays out and just what people think of the game that allows other people to kind of think about it. So that was really poorly worded. Let me try to find the word for this here. Basically, somebody likes my opinion. I learn from like they'll learn a little bit of stuff from me. If I know somebody else's opinion, I learn a little bit from them. I might not agree with it, but hey, maybe I'll view things that I didn't quite see before. That's the main thing. You kind of learn from it. It's kind of like debate. But yeah, so obviously, we're going to be making a tier list. I'm actually super excited, but the problem is I have to play all of the Call of Duty campaigns, and I thought it added a challenge. I was going to do them all in veteran mode, because I have not played a veteran mode to save my life, so we started obviously with COD 4 as being the most recognizable Call of Duty. Honestly, if Activision wins this deal and Call of Duty's come to Game Pass, I'll probably do the campaigns for the first 3 CODs. Now, they weren't too high on my list to do just because of the fact that, how should I put this politely? They weren't too, like, popular for their graphics or their gameplay or anything like that, which I'm not going to diss the campaign itself. But at the same time, I'd prefer to wait it out a little bit before I actually play them, just because I wanted to start with COD 4, which is kind of the pinnacle of Call of Duty when it kind of started becoming Call of Duty and what it is today. So I thought we would start there just kind of as a starting point, and honestly, it was a pretty good starting point. Like, I'm actually quite impressed that we were able to beat the first few Call of Duties on veteran mode. Sure as hell took a lot of beatings. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitch. I'm currently on Black Ops 3 right now as of recording this. It has taken me a long time to do this one because this was the first game to introduce the realistic mode. And I have to say, that game is a pain in my ass. But overall, it's been a pretty good experience. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Well, that's kind of a lie, but how should I put this? I like the challenge. That's what I've been finding enjoyable. However, as for the story and the game and everything itself, that game can honestly go to hell. Black Ops 3's campaign is terrible, but I will say this. You'll probably hear my opinion on that a little bit later when I actually get to making the video, so we'll cover that more a bit then. But yeah, basically we want to kind of just go through all of my opinions on the different Call of Duties. Like I said, I'm on Black Ops 3, so we have like 5 or 6 more Call of Duties left to stream before I can actually make that video. So that video, like, that's kind of why I'm saying it now, is because it's kind of still, obviously, in the process of even in development, because I still have to play all the Call of Duties, get an opinion from them, kind of see what I think about them, rank them, that kind of stuff. But obviously that will come along when I'm actually finished streaming all of them. So it could be a month, it could be a couple of months, like God knows when I'll finish all the campaigns, especially if I'm playing them on realistic. Because as of right now, I think I'd played like 4 or 5 streams, and these streams are like 3-4 hours long. And I'm still only like, 8 levels out of 11 in there, so I'm probably still have like another 2 streams ahead of me before I even finish Black Ops 3. And that's even to say if I can even access, because the big thing too is I originally thought that Black Ops 3's campaign was only accessible from completing one of the 4 main game difficulties before you could play that. However, I haven't beat the campaign. In fact, I haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole until now. and I somehow have access to realistic mode, so I'm thinking maybe purchasing the DLC is what caused me gave me the ability to play realistic mode, because obviously, as you know, if you buy all the DLCs from not World at War, you can play all the zombies right away, whereas normally with zombies, to be able to play Noct, you have to beat the campaign. So I'm thinking by buying the DLC, it kind of skips that whole process. So part of me is thinking I'm kind of worried for Infinite Warfare, because I obviously bought DLC for that. So I'm wondering if they're going to have me do realistic mode or whatever it's called on there. Because they have a game mode called YOLO, which, fuck, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Like, as much as I think it'd be fun, I don't think I'd be able to make a reliable stream with that. Because the way it works, as to people who aren't familiar with how the YOLO game mode works, it has the difficulty of realistic. So, like, 1 or 2 bullets, you're dead. Obviously, that creates an incredible challenge to it. With realistic, at least you spawn back where your checkpoints are. So getting to a checkpoint is very important with realistic. With YOLO, though, as the name suggests, you've only got 1 life. So let's say you've got like 5 levels in. You happen to not die by that point. If you die, you have to start the game all over again. So I'm not too quite fond of having to play a game for God knows how many hours just to have to restart and do it again. Now, honestly, part of me would rather play Always Up or all those other, like, really frustrating games before I would attempt YOLO difficulty on Infinite Warfare. Especially on a game where I'm not too fond of it as it is. However, it's part of the reason I'm going back is to A, see what the campaign is like, because I have to try them. But I also want to kind of revamp my opinion on the game a little bit. So, that's the big thing there. But, so, I don't know. I'm probably not going to touch the YOLO game mode. However, depending if the DLC automatically has it, I might do the realistic mode. Just because, hey, I've already done it on Black Ops 3. Screw it. Might as well continue the rave on Infinite Warfare. And who knows, maybe I'll be playing it at that difficulty for the rest of the playthroughs that I do. But only time will really tell with those. I can definitely feel the frustration welling within me, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't rage that much through the first, like, 10 Call of Duties that I played. Honestly, started out hard, got to World at War, I lost my shit at the sniping level. Like, that was the only part, and then after that, it was like, oh, okay, this is fine. Then we glitched the game, and I got super frustrated with that. Because, as you know, in the tunnel part of the World at War campaign, when you're down in this, the, like, sewers and stuff, or the train stations, Reznov didn't spawn, so it created a glitch where he doesn't actually try to leave. So you basically have to restart the whole level over, and I think I had to dedicate like a whole stream to that. But yeah, I spent like 3 hours on that, had like 300, 200 deaths, which could have been easily avoided. And yeah, no, it was not a fun experience. But then once Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2 came around, that's when things got a little bit better for us, because they have a system. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with the system or how it works in the campaigns, but in the older campaigns, zombies will keep, or zombies, fuck, I haven't played zombies, I've had that in mind, but enemies will still spawn even after you kill them. So a big thing to note here is that if they keep on respawning, you can't make progress because you die very fast. So basically, you couldn't get to a certain point without them respawning, which created problems. But in the newer CODs, they had it so that it had finite enemies, so that way, once you killed a wave of enemies through a checkpoint, you could go through, no issues, get to the checkpoint, you're good. So that made it a little bit easier. We started getting a lot less deaths in the later games, like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. But it started getting really easy around Black Ops 2, I think, is when we started noticing less. Like, I think I ended in 200, maybe 300 deaths, which, as opposed to, like, the average of 600, 700, was quite the difference. And then I noticed, obviously, with, like, Modern Warfare 3 and all these other guys, and even Ghost, like, we ended on very low death counts. Advanced Warfare changed a little bit just because I didn't know the game. I think we ended at 600 there, which was the average. But now we're in the still, like I was saying, like 9 levels, 8 levels in on Black Ops 3, and we're over 1,000 deaths again. So I will kind of give credit where credit is due, and then that better realistic mode definitely did add quite a bit of challenge, which I'm quite happy they did. But even then, it's on a really terrible campaign. But yeah, honestly, that's going to be probably the first project, is just a tier ranking of all the Call of Duty campaigns. But obviously, I'm going to be getting to that once I finish doing all the campaigns, so that's something to look forward to. The other project that I'm working on, and this is kind of was more on the down low, but I might as well kind of go through it, and that's going to be, we're bringing some top fives back. More or less, we're actually revisiting some of the old top fives. So I actually made a top 5 worst maps a few years back. I think this was more near 6 years back, where I actually put a lot of maps that I don't agree should be in the worst maps, especially with the release of some of the newer games. So we were actually doing a bit of streams, kind of going back, playing some older maps. Like, that's part of the reason we did Burger Town. We revisited that. And honestly, that video did so well, so I want to thank you all so much for the support. I was contemplating on dropping like a 3-hour video. I wasn't too quite sure if it was going to do well, but honestly, it's definitely one of my top viewed videos on my channel. So I want to thank you guys once again so much for all the support. It has been phenomenal, and you guys deserve all the thumbs up. But yeah, so that's part of the reason we went back to play Burger Town again. I'll probably be doing a stream at some point after probably Infinite Warfare, I would assume, based checking on like some of the zombies. Like, we might sit back, play a couple of the maps, maybe 1 or 2 of them, and kind of just see how the experience was for Infinite Warfare, because that's definitely one that didn't sit well with me, so I kind of want to refresh my opinion on that. But yeah, those are kind of some things that we're going to hop into, play a little bit of, and kind of get a feel for it again. But yeah, we want to kind of make a top 5 worst maps. Now, obviously, it's still going to be Treyarch, but I kind of want to revisit that kind of genre and kind of take a look at some of my top 5, see if there's a lot of stuff that I agree on or if I disagree with, and kind of see what my opinions are on the games now, and kind of make a new top 5s to kind of refresh, especially with all the new content that's dropped. Like, Vanguard's obviously going to be top tier on that, like, top 5 worst maps, but let's be real, nobody really expects, or nobody's not expecting that, so I'm pretty sure I would have some riots or some shit if I didn't include it. But yeah, that's definitely a video I'm looking really forward to be putting together. But like I said, I think I want to focus on getting the campaigns done. So that's going to be the first focus. But then we're going to be doing the top 5s. But that's something where I might take some time to get to know and kind of focus on a little bit later on, once we get into the grind and actually start doing stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what's pretty much been going on for those ideas for some videos coming up. I want to try posting 1 video a month if I can, until I can get more into the rhythm of using Premiere and all that stuff. But obviously, only time will tell. Same with podcasts. Like, this might be a try to do a month per month thing, but it all depends, because like, it'll kind of like I said, I partially am going to use it for like kind of like what upcoming plans are, what's going on in my life a little bit, things like that. Obviously, it's a little bit less of the later, because I have a really boring life. I go to work, I do some events. Like, I could probably tell you some cool events I did throughout the week. Like, I went and watched The Meg 2 in theaters. I actually really enjoyed that. Obviously, I'm not going to do these kind of things, because obviously I don't want to spoil it for people in the theaters. But I will say, if you enjoyed Meg 1, you're probably going to enjoy Meg 2, so that's all I'll really say about that. But those are kind of just an example of, like, how boring my life is. Like, I don't have too much going on, so that's why we're not going to focus. Maybe I'll pull some stuff up, maybe I won't. It depends. But yeah, on to some next topics, and this is kind of in the same kind of genre of, like, future videos for channels, but, like, more or less some Twitch updates and stuff like that, and what some videos and streams are planned for that. So, like I was mentioning earlier, we are currently working on a Black Ops 3 realistic mode campaign. I'm going to be doing that for like a few more streams. However, I do have some plans for some interesting content afterwards. So the first main thing I want to do is, after I finish this campaign, I'm going to be actually playing a game called Little Miss Fortune. Now, I've seen some clips of it throughout as I was like browsing YouTube and stuff like that, and I'm not going to lie, the game looks really interesting because it has a lot of dark humor, but at the same time, like, it looks like a very interesting side-scroller game, I think it's called. So I'm definitely going to be sitting down streaming that. I might also record it, upload it to the YouTube channel, depending. But that's still something I'm kind of debating on if I want to do or not. Probably will, probably won't. I mean, it just depends on how well it goes. But yeah, I want to definitely do that and focus on doing that after I finish Black Ops 3. Just because, obviously, I need a break from Black Ops 3 after the shit that it put me through. So I kind of want to do that, focus on it a little bit, see how that goes. If I enjoy the game, it's going to be even better. A good, nice break from Call of Duty campaigns. Then obviously after that, we're going to be probably jumping feet deep into Infinite Warfare campaign, which that's going to be probably a nightmare, but that's a problem for another day, for for the future, Donnie. So we'll deal with that when it comes down to it. But yeah, no, there's some stuff I'm definitely looking forward to, and that's definitely one of them. But I do the big thing, and what I'm trying to think of is what I want to do after I finish all these campaigns. And something I had in mind, because I still wanted to do other stuff, like if you follow me on Twitch, I actually did a Magic stream a little while ago, and it did all right. It pulled in some viewers, which is nice. And honestly, if you also follow me on Twitter, like, I actually post some stuff on about Magic on there, especially with the release of Commander Masters, which I'm gonna be real, I wasn't too hyped on. There's some cool stuff in the set, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm obviously not gonna get too into detail with this because I don't know if a lot of you like Magic. If you guys want to hear more about Magic in podcasts and videos, by all means, like I was saying, leave some comments if you guys want to. Then obviously I can post a little bit more, speak about it a little bit more frequently. Hell, I might do it at some point anyways, but just for this podcast, I'm not feeling like I should discuss too heavily into it. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to do a little bit afterwards, but obviously it's not one of those everyday kind of, every stream kind of things like I'm doing with Black Ops campaigns. So what I've been thinking about doing instead, once we're finished all the campaigns, is I actually want to go back from the beginning of Zombies and go through every map and try to get to round 50. Now, it's quite similar to what Lex has been doing, where he's been trying to round 100, but nowhere do I have the time nor the skill to get to round 100. So I thought a nice mediate would be definitely around 50s, and going through all the maps, including like all of the Treyarch ones. I might include a lot of the non-Treyarch ones, so like Advanced Warfare zombies, Infinite Warfare zombies, hell, even World War II zombies. Stuff like that I'll probably include. It'll kind of widen my horizons, like I said, and kind of let me kind of retaste the games a little bit. But yeah, we're going to try to see if we can do round 50s on all of them, just because I feel like it's a more manageable goal. It gives me a little bit more time to work, and plus streams won't be like 10 plus hours, so we're going to try doing something like that. At least that's kind of the goal or the concept. But like I said, it's kind of something that's still in the works, but we'll see what comes up and what kind of goes along. But it's definitely something that I kind of want to approach on and try, because I feel like I've definitely gotten really soft at zombies. Like, I used to be a pretty okay player. Like, not the best, but I was by no definition terrible either. Like, I did actually complete the Rainbow Perk Challenge and complete the Origins Easter eggs on my own. Like, obviously I can't record it, so I can't definitively prove it, but I have done it. And, like, honestly, overall, it wasn't a terrible experience, but it did challenge me to a point where I didn't know I could be challenged. So that's kind of why I want to do some round 50s, is kind of give me a good challenge in something I'm familiar, but also improve and kind of refresh my knowledge for zombies, because I've gotten really rusty on it, I won't lie. So it'll be kind of nice to kind of get into the rhythm of that, play a little bit more zombies, and kind of get back into like my origin kind of sense, because I used to stream a lot or play a lot of zombies back in the day, and I'd really like to do challenges and that kind of stuff again. But obviously, we'll cross that bridge when it comes down to it. We're approaching the 30-minute mark, but I'm trying to think if I have anything else I need to kind of discuss. But like I said, I want to kind of keep these podcasts a little bit shorter, kind of just keep them straight to the point, you know. Obviously, things might differ. Hell, I think I've got like 45 minutes of gameplay for the Howling's Moving Castle, so I might have to clip it near the end, so that way you guys can see that Wonder Weapon I was discussing. But yeah, obviously, like I said, trying to keep this to 30 minutes, so I kind of want to keep this as simple, straight to the point to that thing. Obviously, once we start getting other hosts on and stuff like that, we might make them a little bit longer, but for simple, just up-to-date kind of stuff, podcasts, we want to keep them simple, shorter, and straight to the point. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for viewing today. Your guys' support is, like I was saying earlier, always greatly appreciated. If you guys could leave a like, a follow, sub to the channel, hit that bell icon. Heck, even follow me on some of my other streaming services like Twitch, or even on Twitter if you want to know when I'm going live. That stuff is always greatly appreciated, because you know I'm always posting random shit there for some weird reason, or when I'm going live. And then, yeah, this is Pretty Fly for Podcast Season 2, Episode 1, I guess we'll call it. And, yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And enjoy the rest of your evening, mornings, whenever you guys are watching this. And I will talk to you in the next video. What that will be, I guess we're going to have to sit down and wait and see. But in that, cue the new outro music, and you all have a lovely day. Peace.